Alright, Tom Vlack here with Cal Roth, PGA Tour agronomist, who happens to be assigned to the players, also the head agronomist for the PGA Tour. Cal, it's now Sunday morning of advanced week. The actual tournament practice rounds start tomorrow. What's your feel for the golf course? Are you pleased where we're at? Anything you want to specifically work on?
The golf course, in my opinion, is, Tom, the best that I've seen it for this date, for the May date. You've got more consistency this year than we've ever had before in all the playing surfaces, fairways, greens, the rough. The rough is very consistent. A little bit shorter this year, 2.5 inches, but more density to the rough and a better rough overall. The greens are the most consistent that they've been. Very, very good. We're firmer than we've ever been already at the beginning of the week. And as we were just talking, we're there. The goal now is to keep it there.
Great. Well, Cal, we have a lot of superintendents that follow this blog. In your travels, getting ready for events, what's the biggest thing that you like to see when you come into a venue? What's the most important attribute?
Well, obviously the best thing that I can see when I go into a golf course is a staff that knows, already have had the experience of a tournament. It's fun to work with a new staff, but it's certainly more challenging because you're having to do a lot of training, more developing. So when you work with a staff like yours, that's been through this many, many times and has the experience that they have, it's great.
Cal, you've had the experience of playing this championship on an overseeded ryegrass golf course, and now we've moved to a May date where we have a warm season Bermuda grass. Can you compare and contrast some of the challenges that maybe you experienced in March versus what you're now experiencing in May?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I think it's better overall. The conditions are better overall on this May date than they are ever in March, and they're always really good in March. But right now they're excellent. They're very firm. They're very consistent. The challenges, as you know, come mostly with getting out of the winter and developing championship surfaces very quickly. Only having a few weeks of good growing weather is a tremendous challenge for your guys to turn the greens around, so to speak, from sort of backing off of them for the last 3 or 4 months that you have to do in the wintertime, and developing championship surfaces. I think that's a tremendous challenge here. That's your biggest challenge every year.
For those following the blog, can you explain to us what the PGA Tour agronomy department is? What do you actually do? How many agronomists you have? Those type things.
We have 11 agronomists, counting myself, and we support all 3 tours, the PGA Tour, the PGA Tour, the Champions Tour, and the Nationwide Tour, which is every year roughly about 100 tournaments. And we have 48 on the PGA Tour, and then the Champions Tour and Nationwide Tour make up another 48, 49, 50 events. And basically we support this golf course superintendent, directors of agronomy, and their staff, working with them year-round to help them prepare for the event, get ready for the event, and work with the rules staff to determine the guidelines for the conditioning, for the setup for the event. So we'll go in at least one time in advance, 8, 10, 12 weeks out, and work with the advanced rules official to set up the golf course in terms of mowing heights, rough heights, green speeds, those kinds of basics. But we also work with a lot of detail and try to make sure that everybody's prepared to run the competition. Like I said, when you go into a new site with a staff that has not gone through a tournament, we really spend a lot more time with them. We might go in 2 or 3 times at a new site to help them get ready.
Well, Cal, on behalf of the TPC agronomy team, we're very appreciative of the support you give us, as well as the PGA Tour, and we're just looking forward to having a fantastic week with you.
Thanks, Tom. This is always a pleasure, right in my backyard, and this is always the most fun time of the year for me.